So Dr. Daniel Black went into a philosophical explanation of how culture was not stripped away from FBAs. Yet he said we carry African culture from hundreds of years ago with us, and we carry it out in ways that is intuitive. Okay. Dr. Daniel Black mentioned that jazz and gospel are a continuum of African culture and music. I don't know about that. I think it's partially true. But like Karen, I have studied, but I'm not a historian. All right. I'm not the expert. But I will say that we need to stop trying to philosophically give credit to other people for our cultural practices that we either knowingly or unknowingly created out of circumstance. We need to own what's ours. That's what makes us unique. That right there is our genius. Us unknowingly and epigenetically creating and performing culture in a new space. That's genius. Why do we feel like we have to find a source other than ourselves to credit that genius to? Why do we feel like that? Why do we feel like we have to give that credit to either white folks or we have to rationalize it and try to identify it with a place and people all the way across the globe who are at this point foreign to us, just as we are foreign to them, like Zanu pointed out. Karen also mentioned that there's a war, not a literal war, but a philosophical war, a war among foundational Black Americans and the Caribbean and African community. I don't know about war. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I'll have to respectfully disagree with her on that. I will say that there's a cultural renaissance that's happening among foundational Black Americans. And this to me is another unique and layered experience that is only specific to foundational Black Americans due to the distorted versions of our history here in America. There's so many parts of our history that we don't know yet. So there are going to be many forms of renaissance that will take place, like we've always seen throughout history. This is nothing new. So I see this as an awakening. So there's no harm, there's no war. Is there contention? Absolutely yes. But most importantly, there's only an attempt to make a cultural distinction among Black people, because as you, Karen, pointed out, it could be very harmful for Black folks who are not FBA to move around in spaces promoting negative understandings about FBA culture.